It's been exciting here at Martinsville, Virginia. There's been some mechanical fatigue, some sheet metal fatigue. Might be a little driver fatigue before this one's over, but Ricky Craven, who started 18th and set his car up to run on the outside, has worked it well, and he's now worked it up to a 0.7 of a second lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Darrell, here, 0.7 of a second is a lot.
Oh, it's a great lead. I mean, he's out in clean air, the brakes, the engine, everything is functioning at their absolute best right now. But I tell you, Tony Stewart, in my opinion, he's probably just getting tired. He killed that engine leaving the pits there a while ago. That's a sign of getting tired, and now he's falling back in the grass with some of these other cars. Hot back in there. It's hot out there today, boys, and this is one of the toughest races we run on the before it's getting hot and getting tired.
He has fallen to 9th place. Bobby Hamilton outside pole sitter 10th. And Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin. There's your second and third following Ricky Craven and the interval.
Interval is definitely growing on Terry Labonte, the third place car, the 5 car.
This is when it's easy. You're out front, you got a good race car. Now you just kind of keep that guy behind you just far enough back there so that when you get into traffic, you don't have to worry.
Two fellas that are coming into the picture, though, are right behind Terry Labonte, and there they are. Ricky Rudd, the black car, and the green car, Bobby Labonte.
Bobby Labonte started 15th. He's just been quietly working his way to the front. Kind of one car about every 25 laps. Here he is in the top 5.
Yeah, and Ricky Rudd's another one of those. He's a veteran driver. He's won here. He knows what it takes, and you got to keep the fenders on it and stay out of trouble until about 150 to go. Then you gas it up.
8th place. Stewart passing Rusty Wallace.
I used to love to run this race, and I didn't even want him to call my name until there was 200 laps to go. At 300 lap mark, I like to say, you know, he's in the top 10. With 100 to go, I like to be in the top 5, and then all of a sudden, you win the race.
You like for him to say, now, where did he come from?
Where did that guy come from? I mean, how did he do that?
Well, the only name that's been called more often than Darrell's here is Richard Petty's. Darrell has 11 wins. Richard, incredibly, piled up 15 victories here at Martinsville.
Southbound, get your rhythm back.
Next to Daytona, this used to be one of the biggest paired races there was.
Straight off.
You know, there's Mark Martin, his teammate Kurt Busch in the 97 car, Mark in the 6 car. Mark, he started back in 17th, and Kurt Busch started 20th. Now these guys have worked their way up to 12th and 13th. They have their teammate Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, coming here second in the points. He's up there banging on the door of the top 10 and 11th.
Mike, I'm just follow up a little bit. This race used to pay $50,000 to win, and Daytona only paid like $100,000 to win. So this was a really big paying race all through the 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
And this has always been a family racetrack as we watch the Roush family of drivers, 3 out of the 4. Jeff Burton back in 16. There's Jimmy Johnson back on track. H. Clay Earls and Bill France Sr. and a couple of partners built this track. And the Earls family, Clay Earls' grandson, Clay Campbell, now runs the Speedway. And it's still a nice little family racetrack to come to.
You know, I want to talk about Ward Burton, Tommy Baldwin, his crew chief. They've made that strategy to stay out. They definitely paid the price for a few positions. They fell back to about 6, and they've kind of settled in there. And this is a good run for Ward. He started back in 36, last car to get in on time. He gave up 4 or 5 positions by not pitting, but he's settled in there at 6th place right now.
It's not easy for him either because he's working hard down in there. You see his hands flying all over the place, which is kind of what you do here.
And I think what happened, Darrell, he had 25 laps on his tires. Those guys had fresh tires. They were good for a little bit. Then things kind of evened out a little bit after 4 or 5 got by.
Let's get on down in there with him. Whoop, 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 whoop. A couple of little whoop-de-doos off of turn 4 there, and here I go.
Well, Larry, I like that call Tommy made because he's drifted back only 4 spots. Look what happened when Rusty pitted earlier and came out in 21st spot, and it took him forever to gain a couple of positions.
Track position better than fresh tires.
Yeah, the 32, you saw that. He just comes across that patch, gets a little wee bit loose, and look who's there to get all over him.
We've got to remember Johnny Benson out in front of him, 10 car, still trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap, just praying and hoping for a caution.
But you know, I was talking about Dale Jr. Somebody said, what did I think his chance would be? I said, he's got a great car, he's going to run good, but I don't think he's got the patience for this kind of racetrack. He's proven me wrong.
Yeah, he's never shown it here before, though.
No,
this is the first race he has shown that. Qualified good, staying up there all day.
He's sitting there like a seasoned veteran, just kind of riding along, taking care of his stuff. His car not all beat up. Look at it. They may not, well, it's too early to say. I wouldn't want to jinx him, but they might get to run that body again.
nose to tail for the lead, Craven and Earnhardt Jr. Last night they named a street for Ward Burton in his hometown of South Boston, Virginia. The Daytona 500 winner. Wonder what the speed limit is on that street.
185.
That'd be good.
You got it bad. That bad if you got it.
Welcome back to Martinsville, where Ricky Craven continues to lead Dale Earnhardt Jr. by less than half a second. Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, and Bobby Labonte are the top 5.
Mark Martin's off the pace going down the back, guys. I don't know what happened, but he slowed way down there. Yeah, he's dropped up. Jimmy Johnson's got a problem.
Johnson's been in and out of the garage with rear end trouble.
Everything's shut off again. I flip the start switch and it takes off.
Ignition?
Ignition again, and 36 in the fence up here in turn.
Oh, Kenny Schrader.
3 and 4. I think he's going to bring out the caution. Yes, he is.
Won't run, will it?
Yeah, caution is out.
Caution's out.
Won't run. What's wrong with it? Okay.
And for the lead, Johnny Benson will get back on the lead lap as they come to caution.
Won't run. See if they can come out and push you. It won't run. So we're going to have to push. Going to have to push you.
Dale, we've run about 54 laps.
They got on the brakes.
Listen to Kenny Schrader there try to tell Newt Morris, crew chief, what might be going on. We ran 54 laps on these tires.
Maybe change
I get
the
you
battery.
4 fresh ones on there right now. This thing should go green. Are we going to keep track position? I'll give you 4 tires right now. We can go to the end of this thing.
Give me 4 now.
4 tires full of fuel.
Fill me up with fuel. Then we can argue about where we're going to take any or 2 or whatever if we get another one.
I'm going to pack the pit stuff up.
Schrader's car appeared to just shut off, and it's the wrecker's trying to come to his aid.
Wrecker aid.
Pit road not yet open, and pit road will be open this time around.
That's different than Gatorade, right?
Very much so.
After the 10 there, they'll come out and help you.
There they come. Everybody coming to pit road.
Well, Schrader's misfortune was his teammate's good fortune. Johnny Benson gets back on the lead lap.
Well, Schrader started the day off, with the tire, left rear tire going down, getting all wrapped around the car and catching on fire. So he's just about used that old M&M car up today.
Every car on the lead lap did hit pit road here with about 173 laps to go.
Dick Bernrid.
A couple of laps ago, Bobby Labonte keyed his radio and said, put 4 tires on it on the next pit stop. Take a pound of air out of each of the 4 tires. A few moments later, he said that it'll be 2 tires the next time for the win. To Matt.
Dick, here in the 32 pitted Ricky Craven, no adjustments. They are going to go with 4 tires. A little bit of trouble on the left front. A little bit of trouble on the left front. Jim Carbone had trouble getting the left front off as the 20's out, the 5's out, the 18's out. Finally, the 32's down and away to Steve.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said he liked his race car. They changed 4 tires, made no other changes to that number 8 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. said it's just a tad snug, but I like it. Don't change it.
Boy, Tony Stewart, their group did their job on pit road. He came in 6th, goes out 3rd, and Terry Labonte, that group, they keep cooking on pit road today as well, that 5 group.
That pit crew will step up every time if that driver's doing good out on the racetrack. When that car runs good, everything works good.
New leader, Dave Blaney, assumes the front spot here at Martinsville, and now he will pit and give that up. But Blaney has led a lap for the Jasper team. That'll put Dale Earnhardt Jr. out front. We've completed 328 laps in the Virginia 500, presented by Yamaha. We restarted just a couple of laps ago. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wasted no time in getting past traffic in the former Hermie Sadler and holding off Jimmy Spencer, who was trying to get back a lap. He is 2 down.
Takes a couple of laps, as I said earlier, for these tires to really start to grip. And boy, you slip and slide till they do.
And right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's built a 2nd and 3rd lead over 2nd place Terry Labonte, but he has 3 lap cars behind him. Jimmy Spencer in the 41, Hermie Sadler in the 02, and Buckshot Jones in the 44, sandwiched between him and Terry Labonte.
There's Labonte.
I'll tell you what, guys, Dale Jr.'s car is awesome. I mean, he's running well. He's staying out of trouble. doing a great job today.
And how about the Labonte brothers? Terry started 4th, Bobby started 15th. They're running 2nd and 3rd. Matt?
I might go to that last caution. I talked to Jim Long, who came on board the 5 team this year to try to help rejuvenate the 5 car in Terry Labonte, and certainly doing that. One of the first cars out of their stable that he's had a big hand in and it's paying off today. No changes on the 5 car on this last stop to Steve Burns.
Matt, Rusty Wallace came in, the adjustments they made, a round of bite in, 1 pound out of the left front, 4 tires, but he also doesn't like the lead placement that they put in the frame rails, the location of the lead.
Well, that's hard to change during the race.
Not gonna
What are you going to tell him, crew chief?
Make a note for next time we come back here.
Right.
I mean, these cars have to weigh 3,400 pounds. They hold about 350 pounds of lead to get it to that. They'll weigh about 3,000 to 3,100 pounds without the lead. And you move that lead in the frame rails forwards and backwards to get more nose weight or less nose weight. And normally they'll run about 51% nose weight. The more nose weight you put in it, the more the car will push. The more rear percentage you put in it, it'll be loose. I have a feeling Rusty may feel like since he's been loose that they don't have enough nose weight in that car.
I think that's his problem.
Jerry Nadeau has a problem. He slowed coming off turn number 2 and dropped right down to the inside of the racetrack. Now almost got run over.
I don't know what's wrong. It won't run.
Almost got run over by Steve Park, and now he'll come to the pits probably this time.
I heard him tell his crew chief, Tony Furr, it just won't run.
It almost feels like I'm out of gas, but I'm not.
Battery. I said, guarantee you, it's got a battery going bad.
And you talked about it earlier, all these blowers, all the things we're requiring of the electrical system, it'll just, if the alternator's putting out not enough amperage, it'll just draw that battery down, or if you have an alternator go out.
Jeff, how about it?
Larry, just listen to him come down the back straightaway. It sounds exactly like you're saying. The motor almost sounds like it's down on 2 cylinders. It's either got a battery going bad and the car's not firing properly, or he does have bigger problems, which are going to be obviously dropped down.
Guys, I'm not kidding. Keep it running.
The reason I went right to the battery is because I've had that happen here, and it feels just like it's out of fuel. You first step down on the throttle, it'll kind of act like it's going to go, but when it needs the juice to keep going, it's not there.
And the battery in these cars are in front of the left rear tire. You can change it in a hurry. That's about all you can do. Have a good fresh charged battery to put back in there.
Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte has moved to 2nd and sets out after Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's now built up a 2.5-second lead. Dick Berggren.
Well, Bobby Labonte started this race in 15th spot, and the pit stops have been a very key ingredient to having picked off so many cars. Last week in Texas, his pit stops were, how do we say it kindly, they just weren't very good. So crew chief Jimmy Bankart put the whole team on notice, told them all this week, no one's job was safe with pit stops like that. This crew has responded today. Every pit stop where they haven't pulled the rubber out of a spring has been under 15 seconds, and on that last pit stop they pulled the rubber and picked up a spot. Labonte, great pit stops today, Mike.
And that will make the difference, especially here, Darrell.
Yeah. Life gets too good sometimes. That car's run so well, all of a sudden things start to fall apart, and you look around and it's not just the driver, it's not just the car, it's the car, the driver, the crew, everybody's letting you down just a little bit. And Jimmy Makart's got to go in there and say, hey boys, step it up.
And as that fell up on the box, Joe Gibbs knows well, you want to keep your job in the starting lineup? You got to do better.
Got to perform.
He won't be afraid to make a change if he thinks it'll help the team.
There he is, Coach Joe Gibbs, Super Bowl wins, owns the 20 car, Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, the 18 car, and they're running 2nd, 3rd right now. He's got to be smiling.
He'd like to see that gap on the stopwatch narrow up, though. It's 3.2 seconds now, Earnhardt to Bobby Labonte. Now Terry Labonte going to have to hold off Ricky Rudd and Ricky Craven as Rudd passes Craven for 5th place. 150 laps to go at Martinsville Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to hold them off.